Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to our YouTube channel. Today, there's a conspiracy that is going round across different social media platforms, and definitely, this is a story that you don't want to miss out because it is making headlines as we are speaking across the Republic of Kenya, and it has made Kenyans end up asking themselves a lot of questions. Ladies and gentlemen, Nikubaya. Well, welcome back, and there is this thing going on about SHA. I don't know if you have heard about it. The 10 billion fraud plot exposes SHA woes. So, there is a fraud that is currently going on inside SHA. President William Ruto's beloved health system. You know, SHA was supposed to be a relief, was supposed to be the game changer, was supposed to be something that Kenyans could celebrate and say that it has helped them in one way or another. But as things turns out, SHA is Kenyans' biggest nightmare. Even the government itself, it's counting losses because of SHA. This is something which has just been discovered. And for you to just get the magnitude of this SHA story, and you know a lot of Kenyans confuse between SHA and SHIF. It is said that SHIF is inside SHA. So when we talk about SHA, we are talking about the whole system. This is what carries SHIF. I hope you understand that. So for you to understand that how big this scandal is, how big this conspiracy is, let me do some quick math here about this fraud that is said to have cost more than 10 billion disappear. Like people are wondering, where is this money? So if you take 10 billion, ladies and gentlemen, and then you divide it by the amount of Kenyans who are the whole republic, let's say it's approximately 50 million. That's the Kenyan population. So the 10 billion fraud, now this is the money in question. If you were to divide it among Kenyans, the 50 million Kenyans, whether it's a child born today, whether it's a person in old age, everybody, you know, I believe during the last analysis, Kenyans were expected approximately to be at around 50 million. So if you take 10 billion divided by 50 million, every Kenyan can end up having 200 shillings. That's a lot of money considering that it is everybody in the Republic of Kenya. 200 shillings. Can you just imagine? This is a lot of money. This is a lot of money. And then to just imagine that it has gone to a certain company or a certain person, this person has a crazy money. So, what do I want to tell you? This story, we are going to get into details and try to figure out where did the 10 billion go. Why are certain names being mentioned? For example, the name of Cabinet Secretary Aden Duale is coming up a lot of times, and it is because he is the one who is supposed to answer these questions, because he is the Waziri wa Afya. He is the Cabinet Secretary for Health. He is the one supposed to be overseeing everything. So a lot of times his name is coming up, and also there are a number of people who have been mentioned, including a person like Abdi Mohammed. I don't know if you have heard, he was appointed some few days ago as the co-founder. He was appointed to a certain position inside SHA he was appointed as chair of SHA. So there is a lot of things that people are now starting to join the dots and understand. Kumbe this is coming from here. Kumbe this was here before he came here. and all of that. We are going to be looking at them. I've told you it's a very big story. Has been noted in all our big newspapers in the front page. That's the story that is being spoken about. So you have to stay to the end for you to understand why is this story making headlines in Kenya. Why is this story the big story in all the newspapers here in Kenya, and in all the front pages of these newspapers. If you have not heard about it, then I don't know what you're listening to, but I like bringing to you big stories, things that matter to you, and health is one of the things that matter to a lot of Kenyans, and it is unfortunate that it has become a very chaotic scene for Kenyans in the health sector. Whether you are a patient, whether you are a doctor, anything involving health, it has turned out very chaotic, and I would like us to get into details. But before, ladies and gentlemen, before we even go there, first of all, let me appreciate you for taking time to watch this video. I know you could have done other things, you could have done a certain job, but you have decided, let me watch Daffy updates, because maybe there is something which he is saying and I like to hear about it, so I appreciate. Secondly, talk to me in the comment section. Tell me where you're watching this video from. I always enjoy very much seeing that people across different counties here in Kenya and even around the world are watching, and it helps in connection. So in the comment section, tell me where you're watching this video from. Lastly, for those of you who have not joined our community, kindly click the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and lastly, click the notification icon on. Definitely, you will have joined the community, and your support takes this channel a long way. So the fact that most of the newspapers are talking about the same thing, we are not going to get to keep repeating. Even when we go to a new newspaper, we are not going to repeat what we said in the previous newspaper. Maybe if there is something new that has been noted there. So to start with, I want us to go through the Standard newspaper, Kenyans Bold newspaper. And for those who don't know the date, today is the 26th of August. It's on a Tuesday, 2025. When you look at this newspaper, there is one big story written in bold. SHA rip off. SHA rip off. Okay. The story reads, this is a sleaze loading. An important, in an unprecedented turn, less than a year after the Social Health Authority started paying claims by hospitals for services rendered in the footsteps of National Health Insurance Fund. That means in the footsteps of NHIF. The process has sparked public outrage. Little known hospitals associated with senior government officials have been paid huge amounts, ranging in the millions of shillings, but not commensurate with the services they offer. You know, for a while, hospitals were complaining that SHA was not paying them. You know what's supposed to happen is, a patient, maybe a Kenyan who is sick, is supposed to go to the hospital, produce the SHA card, get treated, then the government is going to pay the hospital for the services rendered, maybe at the end of the month, of all of the financial year, whichever. But now that the government has started to pay these hospitals, something has been noted. Retro or not well-known hospitals, this means just hospitals that are not that big, but in one way or another, these hospitals are said to be associated with top government officials. They are receiving millions of shillings, which people are now starting to realize and find that these amounts of money, these millions of money that are being released to these hospitals, they don't coincide with the services which they offered. For example, there is one particular hospital which has been mentioned. You know, there is a way you can tell if this hospital has offered the services amounting to that amount. by checking maybe at the size of the hospital, at the amount of patients who attend this hospital. There is one particular hospital which is called Ladnan Hospital. Ladnan Hospital. This hospital, the Ladnan group of hospitals, received 220 million from SHA. And it is not 220 million flat, it's 220 and above. 220 million plus was the amount Ladnan Hospital, group of hospitals, received from SHA. You want to know the shocking thing? There is a guy called Abdi Mohammed who currently was appointed by the president as is it appointed or nominated? He was nominated, and obviously when he gets nominated, the fact that he has the Kenya Kwanza has the majority in parliament means that he just passes. He was given this position of becoming the chair of SHA. So you see he's in SHA. Guess what he was doing before he was given this position? He is the co-founder and former Ladnan Hospital CEO. Before he got this position, maybe years before, he founded this Ladnan Hospital, and he's also the former CEO. Now he is in this position, and then Ladnan Hospitals mysteriously receives 220 million. A lot of Kenyans are wondering how. This is what Aden Duale, the Health Cabinet Secretary, had to say. Social Health Authority Chairman Abdi Mohammed used to own Ladnan Hospital, but he no longer owns it. There is no conflict of interest. So Aden Duale is actually trying to show that Abdi Mohammed has not done anything wrong. He should not be suspected and things like that, revealing that he used to own. That means it is years before. And the fact that he no longer owns the hospital, it does not bring any conflict of interest. But do you believe that, ladies and gentlemen? Do you believe that I can be working for a certain hospital, then I get a government job, and now mysteriously this hospital is getting a lot of money? Eh? Is it a fair game? Is it true? I want you to put your thoughts and opinions in the comment section. So a lot of Kenyans want this to be tackled very well. They want to know where the money is going. They want the people responsible, or the people who are causing all these amounts of money to disappear. They need to be held accountable, because talking about 10 billion, this is an amount that can build at least 10 kilometers of road, tarmac road somewhere. 10 kilometers of road can take a place very far. Let us go to our next newspaper, which also talks about the same thing, but we are going to try and look where maybe there is something which we have not talked about. So on the Daily Nation, shillings 10 billion fraud plot exposes SHA wars. It leads. Health Cabinet Secretary Aden Duale revealed the conspiracy to steal from the Social Health Authority, that is SHA, saying authorities had brokered shillings 10 billion bogus claims by corrupt hospitals, which raises queries on the scale of potential undetected routine. You know, the question is, if this is now being noted and the amounts are very big, for how long has it been going on? Who knows if maybe there are even maybe some small fees which have been going on since back then, but people did not notice because they were small amounts. Aden Duale, the CS himself, is the one who has revealed that there are hospitals which are participating in defrauding SHA, and they are trying their best to reap where they did not sow, to harvest where they did not plant. And what usually happens, what Aden Duale is trying to say is that you find that these hospitals, maybe they admitted a person, they indicate that this person was admitted maybe for, instead of, if the person stayed for 1 day, they say he stayed for 3 days admitted. That means maybe in intensive care unit. Pardon me. If he slept in, if he was not if he was treated and let to go home, and he was not that maybe it was not a serious condition, he was treated and told he can go home, they indicate that this person was admitted and stayed in the hospital for maybe a week, and this ends up building up to something, and the amount when it comes out, they end up deducting what they know was not spent in the hospitals and benefiting themselves. These are just some simple values that you need to hear for you to understand what's actually really happening. Shillings 10.6 billion is the value of rejected fraudulent claims lodged by rogue hospitals. Can you imagine? Shillings 10.6 billion. These are values which have been rejected and found out to be fraudulent claims which had been lodged by the rogue hospitals. Shillings 3 billion. These are the applications under review due to missing documents. Shillings 3 billion. It's applications under review due to missing documents. Now, this means that it can be also fraud. These hospitals are frauding SHA, but because not all the documents are there, it's still under review. People are still trying to investigate and find out, are these hospitals really, do they need this money, or are they trying to con us? They are under review. They are being investigated, and as soon as the documents add up to something, we are going to know the truth. Shillings 2.1 billion. This is a suspicious pay demands subjected to further scrutiny. Okay, just recently to those amounts. 2.1 billion. These are demands from hospitals which are being suspected to be suspicious, and they require further scrutiny for them to be clarified, and for them to be 100% sure that this is legit. There are people who actually use this money in the hospital, and we need to pay them. So when you look at these things that I'm mentioning, all of them, you will find a certain gray area, where not even a gray area, you will find a certain trend that hospitals, there is nothing that shows direct that we spend this money, we need it, we need you to pay it. 1029, it's the number of rogue facilities closed all downgraded because of fraud. Can you imagine 1029 hospitals? That's the number of rogue facilities or rogue hospitals which have been shut down because they have eventually been found out that they are taking advantage and taking money which don't belong to them. Shillings 82.7 billion. This includes total claims filed by hospitals for the 1 year SHA has been in operation. This is the amount hospitals are asking SHA to pay, like generally for the 1 year that SHA has been in operation. 82.7 billion. Shillings 53 billion is the amount paid to hospitals for services offered to patients. This is now the amount which has already been paid, but you can't be sure. But according to SHA, they have already let this amount go out there, believing that it is amount which actually was used by hospitals to maybe treat Kenyans. So it's a very complicated story, and Kenyans just want to find out the truth, know what happened, and just make sure that their taxes are being put to good use. Our last newspaper is Taifa Leo, and the story is just the same. SHA ni sakata juu ya sakata. Duale asema zaidi ya hospitali 1000 zimewasilisha stakabadhi za kitapeli kwa SHA. Ufisadi. Waziri Duale asema serikali imekataa kulipa shilingi bilioni 10.6 bilioni kwa vituo vya afya baada ya kugundua ulaghai kama vile hospitali kuwasilisha madai mara mbili. kwa huduma moja na kudai malipo ya kulazwa kwa wagonjwa wasiolazwa. Hapo ndo mahali ambapo nilikuwa nakujulisha kwamba unapata hospitali mgonjwa amekuja ametibiwa, maybe alikuwa na shida ya mguu. Unakuta badala waseme alikuwa na shida ya mguu maybe moja, wanaiweka mara mbili, double inaitangwaje ile double something, wana record mara mbili. Aya, iwapo mgonjwa alikuja akatibiwa na akaachiliwa ende nyumbani, wanasema huyu mgonjwa alilazwa, and this ends up to amounting to money and eventually you find out that there are millions of shillings are leading to billions ambazo zinaibiwa. So it's a complicated story. It's a story that we are going to be definitely following, and I'll just try my best to make sure that I keep tabs and inform you on everything that is happening. For the meantime, thank you for watching this video. I'll meet you in the next one. Kindly before you leave, join us by clicking the subscribe button, rate this video, and click the notification icon on. Bye bye.